Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Simplified Basic Concepts. Today in this video we'll be discussing about the fourth function of management, which is directing. Till now we are clear that there are 5 management functions, starting from planning, then comes organizing, after that is staffing, fourth one is directing, and fifth one is controlling. So before moving on directly to the fourth management function, directing, let's take a quick glimpse about the first 3 management functions which I have covered in my previous videos. See, planning is a future-oriented activity in an organization which helps the organization in determining its objectives, whether it's long-term or short-term, and accordingly the organization develops various course of actions by which it can achieve those objectives, right? So here we can see it's explained diagrammatically that when an organization is being set up, so it's in present status, it has to decide where it has to go. That is, it has to decide about its future objectives, right? And the gap which is between the present status and future status is being bridged by planning, right? So when an organization is being established, it develops or it has certain organizational objectives which it plans to achieve in long term and short term, and for it certain plans are made, right? So in the first management function, planning, these things are being dealt with. Then comes the second management function, which is organizing. So here the organization is able to define the roles, positions, the jobs which are related to the organization, and accordingly develops a coordination between the authority and responsibility of the organization. So once a plan is being established for the organization, its long-term, short-term objectives, goals, purpose, mission, everything is being set. According to that, the roles, positions and hierarchy of the organization is being set up. Whether the organization will have a tall structure or whether it will have a flat structure. What will be the span of control, that is the number of subordinates under each superior. What will be the level of staffs or layers of staffs within an organization. So all these things are being decided in the second management function, which is organizing. Then what will be the organizational structure, whether it will be function-based organizational structure or product-based organizational structure. All these things are also seen in second management function, which is organizing. So now when these things are being clarified, then comes staffing. So in the third management function, which is staffing, the focus is to find the right employee with appropriate qualification or experience to fill the positions which are being made in the organization, right? Now here in staffing, proper recruitment is done, then accordingly the selection process is being done. Once the employee is being selected, he is given proper training and orientation so that he becomes very well aware about his jobs, right? So till here we saw that an organization is being set up, plans are being made about its long-term, short-term objectives. Accordingly, organizational structure, organizational hierarchy, roles, positions are defined, and as per the roles, positions and hierarchy, the staffs are being hired and employed in the organization. Now, from here starts the fourth managerial function, which is directing. So directing is said to be the key managerial function which a manager has to perform along with planning, organizing, staffing and controlling. By the word directing, we mean giving instructions or guiding, counseling, motivating and leading the staffs who are present in the organization so that they are able to do their work in a proper way and they can achieve their organizational goals. So directing, we can say, is basically superior subordinate relationship. Whenever there is a superior subordinate relationship, the superior guides the subordinate about how he can do the work in a better way, and that directing, giving instructions, is the fourth management function, and it is said to be continuous process. Why is it a continuous process? Because whenever there is a superior subordinate relationship, there the subordinate needs proper guidance, right? So the superior, whatever the work may be in the organization, needs to continuously supervise the work of the subordinate, give proper instructions to the subordinate, and keep on motivating and leading him so that throughout his job in the organization, he is able to achieve one or other organizational goals, right? And as it is seen that it is superior subordinate relationship, so directing always is initiated at the top level, that is from the superior it is initiated, and it flows to the bottom through the organizational hierarchy, right? Now let's see the definitions of directing. So the first definition given by Coons and O'Donnell says that directing is the interpersonal aspect of managing by which subordinates are led to understand and contribute effectively and efficiently to the attainment of enterprise's objective. Right? Now, Orvik and Breed said that directing is the guidance, the inspiration, the leadership of those men and women that constitute the real core of responsibilities of management. And Ernest Dale said that telling people what to do and seeing that they do it to the best of their ability. It includes making assignments, explaining procedures, seeing that the mistakes are corrected, providing on the job instruction, and of course issuing orders. So in all these three definitions, we saw that directing is basically an interpersonal aspect of management where there is a superior subordinate relationship. Directing exists where the superior give instructions to the subordinate, the superior counsels, provide guidance, the superior motivates and leads the way of the subordinates so that the subordinate can achieve the organizational objectives, right? Now this can be very well understood if we take a very simple example of a school, right? We see that the role of teacher in a school is to provide guidance to the student. Till the time a student is studying in school, the role of teacher is to provide guidance, whether it is related to studies or whether it is related to sports or any other activity. A teacher is always there to provide better guidance, counsel the student so that the student can achieve its goal in a better way. Right, so in the same way, the superior here does the work of a teacher and guides the way of the subordinate. Now here, the role of the subordinate is to achieve the organizational goals. Right, so that is the basic focus of the fourth management function. Till now we saw in the first three management functions that related to the organizational objectives, certain plans were made, and as per the plans, the organizational hierarchy was set up, organizational structure was made, and based on the structure, certain recruitment, selection, hiring of employees were done, and they were given training. But the actual work starts here, right? So when the actual work starts, directing function becomes very important, because here the role of the superior starts. Here actually the superior starts giving instructions to the subordinates so that they can actually achieve those goals which are still on paper, right? So here the actual work starts. Now let's see the characteristics or features of directing. So the first one is that it initiates action. As I explained, that a manager by giving instructions get the work in progress in organization, right? Other functions of management is to organize a proposal for action. So we saw in planning, organizing, staffing that a proposal for action was made. That is, a plan was made. Based on that plan, organizational hierarchy, organizational structure was being set, and staffing, recruitment and selection of employee was done, right? But the actual action starts here. That is, the actual work, how to achieve those actions, starts in the fourth management function, which is directing. That is why it is said that directing initiates action, right? The second feature is it is a continuous process. Directing continues throughout the life of the organization, irrespective of changes in managers or employees. That is, if a manager changes or the employee changes, or at times the organizational hierarchy is changed, that doesn't affect the fourth management function, that is directing. Till when the organization is working and it has got goals and objectives to achieve, this fourth management function is very important, because the subordinate will at times feel clueless if he will not get any instructions or guidance from his superior as to what they have to do. That is why it is very important management function, right? So if the manager changes or the employee who is working at that profile changes, that doesn't affect this function. Whoever is working on that profile will be needing to perform this management function, right? So a manager cannot rest only after issuing orders and instructions. He need to counsel, he need to supervise, he need to provide guidance at each and every step to the subordinate. And once a organizational goal is achieved, then he has to move on to the other goal or objective which the subordinate has to achieve, right? So the superior must take steps to make sure that orders and instructions are also followed accurately. That is why it is said to be a continuous process, because at every point there needs to be a check by the superior. He needs to keep an eye on the subordinate so that whenever there is a flaw or fault in the steps of the subordinate, then in there he can check it. Right. Then the third feature is it is a pervasive function. Now, pervasive means present everywhere. That is, directing is present everywhere. See, directing takes place at each level of the organization, right? That is why it is called to be a pervasive function. Now, whenever there is a superior subordinate relationship, directing exists, as every manager needs to provide leadership, motivation, guidance, counseling to his subordinates. That is why it is said to be a pervasive function. Okay. The fourth feature is at every level of management, directing exists, right? Same as the earlier feature, it is every manager has to administer, direct, inspire and communicate with his subordinate to get the things done properly. So it is performed by all the managers at all the levels and in all the locations, right? So if we go and see the organizational hierarchy, there is a top management, middle management and lower management. So whoever is at the top management will direct the middle management employees, and the middle management employee will keep a check on the lower management employee. So directing is prevalent and is practiced at all the levels of the organization, and it is performed wherever there is a superior and who has a subordinate, right? Now the next feature is it is a human factor. See, directing function involves study of human behavior. Why human behavior? Because again and again I am repeating that whenever there is a superior subordinate relationship, the directing function exists. And what does the superior do in directing function? He directly guides, counsel, motivate, leads the way of the subordinate so that he can achieve his goals in a better way, right? So it is all about study of human behavior. It is about understanding the behavior of the subordinate, right? So when the directing function is done in a proper way, it improves interpersonal and intergroup relationship. And since human factor is complex and behavior is very unpredictable, direction becomes very important management function, right? Then the next feature is it is performance oriented. See, the main motive of directing is bringing efficiency in performance. Why the superior needs to keep a check on the work of subordinate? Because wherever there is a flaw or wherever the subordinate is not able to achieve the goals, then the subordinate can provide him proper guidance so that the subordinate can correct his flaws and can achieve the organizational goal, right? So the basic focus here is to increase the performance or enhance the efficiency of the performance of the subordinates, right? That is why it is said that directing function directs the performance of individuals towards the achievement of organizational goal. That is why it is a performance oriented activity. Okay, and the last one is directing flows from top to bottom. Every manager can direct his immediate subordinate and take directions from their own immediate bosses, right? As I explained earlier, there is a top management, middle management and lower level management. So for top management, he is the superior and the top management managers will give instructions to middle management managers, right? Because for top management, they have their subordinate as middle management, and same goes with the middle management managers who will give instructions to the lower level managers, right? So directing starts from the top level and flows to the lower level in the organization, right? So these were the characteristics or features of fourth function of management, which is directing. Now, elements or techniques of directing. Now, what are the ways by which directing function can be done by the superior to his subordinates? So the first element or technique of direction is issuing orders and instructions. Then comes communication, supervision, motivation, and leadership. So we'll see one by one each of these. See, these topics are very vast. So what I have done is here I have given glimpse of each techniques, and in my next videos I'll be taking up each topic separately, and I have made a separate videos on each topic, right? Like for communication I have made a separate video, for motivation I have previously made videos, and for leadership too I will be making separate videos. So let's start with issuing orders and instructions. See, issuing orders and instructions are considered as a very essential steps, because this is one of the first and foremost step which initiates the process of directing. What does an order mean? It is a basic or a fundamental thing for getting things done. Orders from superiors simply reflect the managerial decisions. So when a superior says or gives certain instructions to his subordinates, that means the management wants that things to be done, and this initiates the action on part of the subordinate, right? So orders and instructions reflect the managerial decision which initiates the action on part of the subordinate. That is, once the subordinate gets instructions, he starts working on it. Now the order may be general, specific, formal, informal, written, or oral. Now that depends on the work which needs to be done, right? So when the order which is issued and the instruction which is being given to the subordinate, that initiates the directing process, and the order should be very clear which comes from the superior. It should be complete and attainable, right? Because till the time the order or the instructions which are coming from the superior to the subordinate, it is not clear and not complete, then it will confuse the subordinate, right? Then the second thing is the order must be in tune with the various objectives of the organization, right? So whatever instructions are coming from the superior should always be in tune, that is, should be relevant to the other objectives which the organization has and the superior has to achieve, right? Now the third one is all the orders should follow the chain of command. That is, the order which is coming from the superior to the subordinate should be in sync with the other management function, and it should follow the chain of command which exists in the organization, right? The fourth one is face-to-face suggestions which are coming from superior to the subordinates are preferable to long distance orders, right? So this is the first and foremost step by which directing can be done, that is, issuing orders and instructions to the subordinates. The second one is communication. See, by the word communication we mean when a piece of information is transferred from one person to another in an organization, because we are talking everything in organization's context, right? So when a person conveys the information, he is known as a sender, and the one to whom the information is conveyed or given, he is known as the receiver, right? So communication is basically the act of transferring any idea, any facts, any feeling, or anything from one person to another and making him understand. So when a sender makes the receiver understand what he actually means or what actually idea he has, that is the process of communication. In management, we have seen that there are several ideas, objectives, orders, appeals, observations, etc. that needs to be exchanged between the managerial personnel at every point of time. So this makes communication very important. Now, till the time a superior is not able to communicate properly to his subordinate, how could he make the subordinate understand what does he have to do? Right. So previously we discussed that an order is being issued or instructions are being given to the subordinate. That is the first step or the first element of directing. Now, when an order is being issued or instruction is being given to a subordinate and it is not communicated properly, communicated properly means the crux of the message or the crux of the order, that is the basic essence, the basic message of the instruction which is given by the sender is not properly understood by the receiver. Then what will happen? This means that the superior is not able to communicate properly with the subordinate. So this will fail the entire purpose of directing, because here the superior is trying to direct, provide guidance to the subordinate, but he is not able to communicate, he is not able to express, he is not able to transfer his ideas to the subordinate, and that's why the problem will be created. That's why the second important element of directing is communication. Right. That is why it is said that directing will mainly depend upon the effectiveness of communication. When the superior will not be able to communicate properly, the entire essence of directing will fail. That is why directing will be successful only if the communication is effective and the subordinate is able to understand properly, and the same thing which the sender, that is the superior, is able to convey him, right? So in case the orders and instructions are not properly conveyed, then these may not be properly implemented. That is very simple. That is why it is said that the communication will be successful and effective only if the receiver, who here is the subordinate, is able to understand what actually the sender, who is the superior, is able to explain, right? Supervision includes face-to-face interaction between the supervisors and subordinates. Here in supervision, the superiors monitor the progress of routine work of the subordinates, right? And it is practiced at every level of management for putting the managerial plans and policies into action. So the basic job of every superior is to keep a check on the work of their subordinates. So the superiors needs to supervise, that is, they need to keep a check on the work of the subordinates. And if they find that at any point the subordinate is not following what is being instructed to them, then at that point only the supervisor or the superior can take corrective measures and can provide informations to the subordinates so that they can properly work in line with the plan and achieve the organizational objectives. They don't deviate from the main objective which they are given to follow, right? Now, supervision, that is why is said to be involving direct personal contact with the subordinate, because here the superior will directly contact with the subordinate and will give direct instructions to the subordinate about their work. That is why it is said that supervision converts plan into action. Thus, supervision is considered as an essential step in the process of directing. Clear? Then comes motivating the subordinates. Motivating too is an essential element of directing, because we know the word motivation means an impulse, a driving force, or a reason for a person to do things, right? So just by issuing order to the subordinate by the supervisor does not guarantee that that work will be followed exactly, right? When a superior issues orders and instructions, he is communicating that instruction properly to the subordinate, and he is also supervising the work of the subordinate very closely. But the only thing which is missing here is that the subordinate is not motivated. The subordinate is not getting that driving force, that reason to do or achieve those organizational objectives. Right? Then what will happen? The entire purpose for directing will fail, because the superior here is putting in lot of effort, but then also the subordinate will not be able to achieve the organizational goal, right? Because he is lacking the motivational force. Now, the work of superior here is to motivate the employee. Now, motivation can be done in monetary gains terms also, such as incentives or bonus can be provided to the subordinate, or it can be in non-monetary term also, such as appreciation or growth can be given to the subordinate. So the superior needs to understand each and every subordinate, his needs, what are the expectations of a subordinate, and accordingly, though that subordinate can be motivated by his superior. right? So motivation is a force that makes an individual perform to the best of his abilities in order to complete a set of tasks or instructions, right? So till the time this motivational force is missing in an individual, he won't be putting his heart and soul to achieve those organizational objectives or any objective, right? So now here starts the work of the superior. He needs to give orders, provide instructions, provide guidance to the subordinate, also properly communicate those instructions, supervise the work of the subordinate. But along with these things, the most important thing is he needs to keep the subordinate motivated. He needs to provide a reason to the subordinate. Why should he do these things? Why achieving organizational objective is important for him, right? Now, this why, when is answered to an employee, gets the reason to work. Then that subordinate will put his heart and soul to achieve that goals, right? The next element of directing is leadership. We know that a leader is a person who is able to influence other people and inspire them to follow the instructions provided, right? So leadership is basically an act of leading, guiding and motivating the subordinate to achieve organizational goal. That is why this is the most important skill which a manager should have if he wants to properly direct his subordinates, because this skill helps a manager to develop trust and zeal among his subordinate, right? And such manager can influence the work of the subordinate in the desired directions. So it becomes very important for a manager to have this leadership skill so that he can direct properly his subordinates, right? So directing just not only means giving proper instructions and guidance to the subordinate. Whatever instructions and order is being given to the subordinate, he should follow it. He should put his heart and soul so that he can achieve those organizational objectives. Now, here the role of the manager becomes very important. Here the role of the superior becomes very important, because he needs to motivate the employee. He needs to have that leadership skill by which both organization and individual is able to get maximum satisfaction as they both are able to achieve their specified goals, right? So with this we come to the end of this topic. Do like and subscribe my channel, and in my next video I'll take up leadership. Thank you.